trepidation. Were they concerned at all with anyone to blame? The corporate powers that would fund their meager hours. Did any one of them know this is just their game? No value.
A fellow rushed up to the front of the stage and put a book on the front of the stage. Well, I picked it up, I took it home, and it was one of those books you can buy that's got blank pages, but it's already bound, you know. Well, he had filled this book with poems and short stories and cartoons and the adventures of Cowboy Cat, which was a cowboy hat with a tail out from underneath it. And the writing was exceptional. So over the years, he gave me 2 more books. Now, I was living in Italy at the time. And in the 3rd book, he put his, incidentally, the writing just got better and better with each consecutive book. So he put his phone number in the 3rd book. And at that time, if you wanted to call the United States from Italy, you had to book the call 2 hours in advance.
Wow.
So I booked a call, and 2 hours went by. They called me back, and the phone rang in San Diego. And somebody picked it up, and I said hello, and I said, Luis Urrea, please. And he said, this is Luis. I said, hi, Luis, this is Shawn Phillips. And he said something extremely nasty to me and said, that ain't funny, and hung the phone up. Okay. 2 hours later, dude, don't hang the phone up, man. It took me 4 hours to call.
This is really me.
It's really me. Anyway, long story short, we became the best of friends.
Huh.
He went on to become the youngest person ever to teach expository writing at Harvard.
Wow.
And now he is a multi-award-winning author. He just won the Edgar for the best short story this year. And we just became the very best of friends. And he was nominated for his book, The Devil's Highway, for a Pulitzer Prize.
Wow.
And Luis always, his full name is Luis Alberto Urrea. And he always sends me a first edition of anything he ever writes. And he sent me The Devil's Highway. I read the book. I read the last page of my studio. And I put the guitar down and I wrote that song.
Wow.
And that version that you heard was the version that I did in my studio, just after it was written. So consequently, the tempo's a bit slow. I play it a bit faster now. But I came to Texas, and there came a point where she wanted to stay in. She wanted to go back to South Africa because her parents are getting older, and she wanted to be near them. But I wanted to stay in Texas because they were going to make me a lieutenant in the fire department, and we were going to go professional. And Juliet very diplomatically pointed out, she said, yes, you'll be a lieutenant, yes, you'll get paid and insurance and benefits and all the rest of it, but they're going to put your butt behind a desk next year because OSHA says mandatory retirement at 60. So you can't even ride on the engine anymore. So what?
Eyes of a liquid color touch the sun. Oh, I dreamed in would you while sitting on a golden crown on my head. My head. My head.
Shawn Phillips, how on the earth did you start playing the sitar from India?
Well, I was playing
I'll talk about that.
in Toronto. and Ravi Shankar was doing a concert in Toronto. And so it was my night off, so I went to see the concert. And I was backstage.
The classical places.
And I spoke to him for about 2 hours or so. And I just was completely knocked out by what he did. I never saw an instrument like it, or that had a sound like it. And the music was just...
How did you end up by buying one? Did you have to go to India to buy it?
No, we got it in England. I bought my first one, and I paid the down payment on it and didn't have enough money, so I had to take it back. And then they didn't have any more, so we got this one.
So here's an Irishman playing an Indian sitar. Show him that funny finger pick you use. It's a different kind than we use in this country. Got a little wire that loops over the fingernail. I'll be darned. Oh, I'm just tickled to see.
Spaced. And the thing about it is because they came at the end of the run with A&M Records, they didn't really promote it, and they never told anybody who was actually playing on this. And the band that's backing me on half of Spaced and all of Rumpelstiltskin's Resolve is Herbie Hancock's band.
Oh, wow.
It's Michael Clark on drums, Paul Jackson on bass, Bill Summers on percussion, Pete Robinson on keyboards, Paul Buckmaster on cello, and doing some arranging, and Al Wing on soprano saxophone, and a man named Mike Miller on guitar.
Wow.
So it's pretty intense. Yeah. Landed on the moon, okay? We all saw him. We all saw him, step down, small step of man, giant leap, and so forth. But that was the public television feed. When the public television feed stopped, only the journalists... simple chores for holding lands and farms, sent with characteristic joy the value that is lost and lost. While we sit, they were still. What you see is a falling to the ground. The way that went down. The way that happened, Israel called his producer up one morning and said, I want to go in the studio. A girl, child, of 6 loneliness. And my emptiness. A faint renown. Next thing that happened was, when I went back to it to tell him no,